Hello and welcome to the Live Life Golden Show. This is episode 50. Who are you anyway? Activating your true brilliance and joy. This conversation is all about identity creation. I'm going to show you the ways in which you've dimmed your light, the way you haven't lived in the true essence of your brilliance and your being. And I'm going to help you and assist you in activating that energy so you can stand in your truth more, so you can stand in the power that you have to be a deliberate creator on this earth. So your identity was created at a very young age, anywhere from the age of like when you were born to 5 to 7 years old. That's when you formed your beliefs about yourself and about the world. And that's when you started to figure out how to navigate certain situations and, be that person that you are, be that personality that you are. The problem with this is there's a lot of people walking around like with 5-year-old wounds, with 5-year-old belief systems, with belief systems from their parents and influential adults that don't necessarily help them to create and be a powerful creator. Do not help them create what they actually came here to create. Those desires, those down deep, things that call to you, those are the things that you are here to create. It's not the everyday minutia. It's not the paying the bills. It's not the getting through this lifetime. It's the call of your heart that creates that life force that allows you to step and stand in a new identity. So the identity that you have was influenced by your traumas. It was created by others. There's a lot of protective layering that goes on, to keep us safe. Our mind, the mechanism of our mind is to keep us safe and the same. So in order for us to, just be a person on this earth and be in all these relationships, we've put ourselves in little boxes. Like, this is my personality. This is who I am. I don't know how many times I've heard people say like, this is who I am. I can't change. I'm never going to change. I don't change. And it's like, that's a choice. Like, not changing is a choice. Standing in the same identity, creating the same cycles over and over again is a choice. You may not know you're at choice, but if you're listening to this podcast, most likely you do. So you also may have some shut down chakras. So, I've talked a little bit about the chakra system. I did an episode on that. But what happens is when we get wounded, I have a good example of this actually. When we get wounded in certain areas, we, take on these belief systems and we actually kind of shut down these chakra systems. And they still work. They just don't work as optimally as they can. So recently, I'm going to really like share about myself right now. I don't usually do this. I've actually shared this in my private groups, but I have had issues. Maybe I've shared on the show. I don't even know. I have had issues wearing sports bras to the gym. Like, for whatever weird reason, I just have a hard time with that. And I watch these girls walking around in all their confidence. Now, I have no problem being in a bikini on the beach. Really weird. I'm proud of my body. I'm proud of who I am. And I just had this like disconnect where I felt really weird about it. So I was talking to my daughter about it recently, the one who was on the show. And she's like, Mom, like, your sacral chakra's obviously got some issues. You're blocked. So your sacral chakra is the one below your belly button. And that is like your emotional center. That's your creative center. Don't really feel a lot of blockages in my creativity, but sometimes I do. And it's your sexual energy and your feminine energy. So when I was younger, I had a lot of issues with older men giving me attention. A lot of issues, like 12, 13 years old. They were like 20, 21. A lot of drinking going on and a lot of like inappropriate, not so much like sexual abuse, but like emotionally sexual abuse. So I definitely had that going on. I've also been in situations that were pretty precarious and caused me to kind of get this, I don't know if it's like shame or guilt or what. So I really worked on that this past week. I've been doing some energy work on it. I've been connecting, I've been asking, I've been journaling, I've been doing the whole thing, and I'm clearing it. So I wore a sports bra the other day to the gym and I felt really good. So there you go. So it's possible to look at your situations and ask yourself kind of, where does this show up in my body? What chakra could represent this? Like, if you have a lot of issues with feeling universal support, or you've got a lot of blockage in abundance and prosperity, most likely that's a blockage in your root chakra, which is below your spine. And that chakra is a lot of times there can be generational energy in that chakra because that's like, we come from like this depression energy, not having enough, not being enough. So it could be a potential that that chakra is blocked. Like when you're in trust and you're in faith and you really believe in universal support, that chakra is super clear. So, pay attention to that because it's not that you need to like, release your chakras all the time and clear them out, but it's a good idea. And there's lots of stuff on YouTube. I actually have one that I've shared with my VIP members. If you're interested in becoming a VIP member, it's $20 a month. And then I send you extra guided meditations and stuff like that, just to support the Live Life Golden podcast and to make sure that this stays ad-free. Hoping to do that. All right. As long as it makes sense, I will do that. When it stops making sense, I may not do that anymore. So if you want it to make sense, definitely support me. So I'll put the links below for that. So remember, again, your mind's mechanism is to keep you safe and the same. So your mind is going to talk you out of those things that feel risky, that maybe would put you, too much out being seen. There's a lot of energy and fear of being seen. So that's why, a lot of times you don't like pictures taken or you won't do videos or things like that because you have a fear of being seen. So your mind will keep you safe and it will keep you the same. And that's why your meditation practice is so important. So you can start creating the space around your identity. And you can go, do I want to live in this identity anymore? If you don't want to live in the identity that you've been living in, the personality, the life story, whatever's coming to you. If you don't want to live broke anymore, if you don't want to live suffering anymore, if you don't want to live as a victim anymore, if you don't want to live as someone who, just a people pleaser all the time. I'm going to go through how the ways in which you dim your light and the ways in which you keep yourself from living in your brilliance. But for now, if you really want to break free from that identity, it's about changing things, like really changing things, changing beliefs, changing your feelings, changing your responses, changing your activities. Oh, I'm going to get into activities today and then give you some really good, powerful suggestions about activities to let go of and new activities to introduce if you really want to stand in your power and create. So breaking free from that old identity, decisions need to be made. Solid decisions need to be made, and an integrity to yourself needs to happen. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were saying it's so much easier for me to keep my word to someone else rather than to myself. And I said, that is very telling. That is very telling about the wounds that you have underneath and about the way you really feel about yourself. Because if you're making everyone else matter and you're not mattering, that's huge. That's a huge worthiness issue. And I would definitely journal and do some releasing around that. That probably is in your solar plexus, which is above your belly. And that's your power center. New pathways need to be paved. So those old, so we have this 60,000 thoughts a day. We've got pathways. We've got those run-on and, those run-on sentences, those run-on paragraphs, those run-on belief systems about ourselves. As we continue to tune into those, we tune into those frequencies, we tune into those radio stations, we entertain that shitty committee. As we do that, we become whatever we are allowing. We become whatever we are entertaining. So those new pathways need to be set. And the only way to set new pathways is to roadblock the old ones, which means it's a process of interruption. And sometimes you've got to interrupt it like 100,000 times to start tuning it out. It takes diligence and it takes focus, but you totally can do it. So new activities, acting as if. So identity creation is one of the coolest things I think I have ever come across. And it has fueled my manifestation game like you would not believe. I learned about it from Fred Dodson. I've shared before, Parallel Universes of Self. You can listen to it on Audible or read it. I had a hard time reading it. It's super deep. Fred is leading edge. He's on the leading edge. He talks about a lot of crazy things. He talks about healing a broken hand within 10 to 15 minutes by refusing to believe it was broken. I mean, he is a master. And as you take in his information, if it resonates with you, it has to resonate with you. This identity creation thing becomes something that gets kind of like an adventure. It's like, how much shit can I change about myself? How different can I be? How, how much stuff can I release that has kept me from really shining my light? How big of a leap of faith can I take? If this thing has been calling me for forever, if this thing has been calling me for years, can I move forward on it right now? Can I take that leap of faith and become a person who follows their dreams, a person who decides that life is going to yield to them when they take that leap of faith? All right, creating that space of meditation, right? So we create the space of meditation. We allow the mind to get quiet. We allow the mind to settle. We create the space. Once we create the space, we're going to get new awarenesses around things that we do and things that may not work for us. The very most important thing in this process is letting go of victimhood. If you are still in victimhood, if you are still in blame, if you are still pointing the fingers at everybody else and pointing the fingers at this is why my life is the way it is, you cannot create. You cannot, because it puts you in a powerless position and it doesn't allow you to really step into that powerful creator that you are. You're still creating by default. You're still allowing other people to do things to you and reflect those wounds that you have within that need to be healed. All right. All right, let's see. I want to see where I want to go because I did this a little kind of all over the place. All right. So asking yourself, getting really in touch and in tune with the powerlessness triggers, right? So we all know the feeling of powerlessness or shame or guilt, or like those times that we just kind of shrink, right? Like we shrink back, we dim our light, we don't share what we're really feeling, we don't share what we really need to share. And we put ourselves kind of in the back seat, right? We let other people drive us. We let other people drive the car. And when we do that, these are the ways in which we may do that, and it may end up creating a personality that doesn't allow us to truly step into who we are. So these are the ways in which you dim your light and you allow powerlessness to be the driver in your life. So looking for love in all the wrong places. So we're looking for love through lack. Major people pleasers. We're just always doing for everybody else. We're distracting ourselves and our life story by doing for everybody else and telling ourselves, picking up on a belief system, tuning into a frequency that says, I can't do anything right now because I have to take care of these people. I can't pay attention to my own dreams, my own desires, because I have to do for other people. That is a very, very powerless position, and it will lead to a lot of resentment. Trust me, been there. Okay, so some of the other ways that we do this is through drugs. Yeah, distract yourself with some drugs, smoke some pot, right? Take some pills, whatever you're doing. Any sort of substance, alcohol included, any sort of substance will distract you from really living in your truth. And some people would say, there was a saying like there's truth in wine or something, because when we drink, we just kind of like let our filter out. Unfortunately, that type of like sharing our truth usually ends up being kind of mean and nasty and not received well, because we're all in a different energy field when we're drinking alcohol. We're not in our truth. We're not in our light. We're not in our brilliance. We're actually being distracted. I'm not going to, get on my soapbox about alcohol right now, but it is a low vibrational substance that not only distracts you from your truth and brilliance, but it keeps you in a lower vibe frequency so you can't connect with your higher self, with your higher consciousness. Got a lot of realizations going on about alcohol right now. I haven't drank in 6 weeks. We had one glass of wine on our anniversary, and I'm almost 6 weeks not drinking. And man, feeling good, feeling high, feeling free. So that's the thing about alcohol. If you do it every day, or you've been doing it consistently for a long period of time, you don't even know what you're missing. You don't even know the joy. Yesterday we went for a hike And I was like, God, everything is so vibrant. And, we're in California. And yes, we are very blessed to live here. Took that big leap of faith and moved to where we wanted to live, where there's flowers year round and there's these amazing green hills right now. And just was feeling like really joyful, feeling really good. And in the past, I would say on a Sunday, I'd be a little dumbed down from a couple of glasses of wine on a Saturday. So, there's a lot of benefits to letting that kind of stuff go, even for a short period of time to see, where is my vibration with this stuff? And is it really holding me down? TV, crazy. Okay, this is crazy, guys. I cannot freaking believe that I've done this. This is like kind of astounded me. And I've been thinking over the course of my life, TV was a big part of my life, a big part of my family's life. Like we had our shows lined up. We had the TV guide all checked. We knew which show, how many hours we could watch before we had to do our homework. And as I got older, high school, college, I probably didn't watch very much TV because I was busy. But then, having a family and relaxing at night, like that's what you do, right? Like you turn on the TV. So always been a TV watcher. Like couldn't wait till my TV time at night. I'd have it like scheduled. And it started to get less and less over the last few years, believe it or not. Everybody went to like binging things and we kind of steered away from watching so much TV. So like now we can't find a show. So we watched Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso, excellent show, by the way. If you're going to watch TV, watch something like that. Good messages, light humor, something that makes you laugh. And that's our thing is we always want a TV show that's going to help us feel lighter. Like if we're going to watch TV, that's what it's about. We don't want to watch dramas and except for Blacklist. We love Blacklist. So couple weeks ago, we're looking for a new show. We had finished Ted Lasso for like the fourth time and we couldn't find one. We could not find one. And we looked a couple of times and it drives us both crazy to sit there and just kind of look for a show. So we just made a decision. We started reading this book together called Younger Next Year, which I highly recommend. It's about keeping your youth. And we just decided, we go to bed really early anyways, which started to shorten our TV time because we get up for the gym at 4:30. So we just go to bed at like 8:00. We take our tea. My daughter's like, you guys are so old. I'm like, but it's wonderful. And it's like a wonderful way to kind of ease yourself into sleep where you're not like, on social media and on the TV and all that stuff. So I would recommend, if you can, shorten your TV time or take a break from it because TV does suck the living life out of you. It absolutely does. And if you're doing it, there was one day during COVID that I did it all day. It was like one of my things. I was like, I'm just going to watch TV all day because there's nothing, right? There's nothing going on. I'm just going to watch. I felt so horrible. I was like, holy cow, like just vibrationally low, no energy. If you're sitting on the couch a lot for a couple hours a day, your life force is being screwed with. Yeah. You may not like the show at all, but I'm going to be honest with you because this is me living in my truth, in my brilliance, and telling you what has contributed to a lot of joy in my life. And shutting the TV off has been surprising. It's been very surprising. So now we take baths. We need baths because of the gym work that we're doing. And I did a stretching video last night. Oh my God, stretching video on YouTube. It was amazing. And I felt great this morning because I stretched everything out. So it's more about like a self-care thing now than it is about laying on the couch and watching ridiculous TV. I do think it's part of a social programming of kind of keeping us from growing and from becoming and from reading and from doing. You got to look at your activities. What activities are you doing that are contributing to your dream, that are contributing to who you want to be? What addictions are you tuning into on a daily basis that are going against what you say you want to be? You got to let those go. And it's not easy. It's freaking not easy. The beginning of my alcohol journey, like giving up alcohol, I gave up alcohol for 100 days at the very beginning of COVID. I know, crazy. So that was good because a lot of people gave into more drinking during that time. I stopped completely and was able to really navigate that through quieting my mind and being in meditation and being peaceful and letting the process of what was going on in the world take place. Then through the last few years, I've kind of like back and forth. I stop, I start, I stop, I start. And by start, I'll say Weekends, I'll have one or two. It definitely has less of a hold on me. But this past time when we let go of it 6 weeks ago, the first couple of weeks were tough. Like every week, and I'm fine during the week. I don't drink during the week, so I'm fine with that. But that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we love a good red, bottle of red with our filet mignon on Friday nights. So we had to change some habits. We had to change what we do. And I'm telling you right now, my husband and I are so much higher, so much funnier, so much funner, so much lighter without this heavy substance in our body all the time. It's amazing. All right, scrolling. Are you a scroller? Are you on social media all the time? Where's that getting you? Where's it getting you? I know there's relationships on Facebook. I have a lot of them. I enjoy a lot of people on Facebook. I have family on Facebook. Some of my old friends from back east, I wouldn't have connections with them if it wasn't for Facebook. I spend a certain amount of time. I just don't sit there. And I'm guilty of it for sure, have had issues but it's like that addiction and that like where you get in that like the hole, you're in the hole. And I watched Social Dilemma on Netflix and it really kind of woke me up. So I'm very careful about how much scrolling I do because the scrolling, it's, that dopamine, it's that addiction, it's that watch Social Dilemma if you haven't seen it. Holy crap. Laying around and being inactive. I'm going to repeat this. If you have no physical activity, if you don't have an exercise routine, something, walking, jogging, going to the gym. They say going to the gym is one of the best things you can do, especially if you find group classes, because it's community, it's connection, it's getting out of your house, it's doing something, it's messing with it's creating an interruption in your routine and your activity, and it gets you out. My gym family, I love these people. These are my people. Like I finally found my people in California. It took me 6 years to find my people. I love my gym family. We have so much fun together. We've got, the same goals. We're excited about life. We're there to really work our bodies, really get strong. That life force of moving your physical body and all of the things. This book, Younger Next Year, talks about how if you're not doing this, you're decaying, like past, I don't know if it was age 40 or 50. I think it was 50. I'm 49, so I'm doing pretty good. If you're not moving, you're decaying. You are allowing yourself to go in the opposite direction of vitality and life force. So I can't say that enough, people. But the ways in which you are dimming your light, these have a lot to do with it. You're not living a life that is, more. How can I live more life? Ask yourself that. Like every day, get up and ask yourself, how can I live more life? We had a thing in one of my private groups says, wake up every day and ask yourself, how can I shine my light brighter? What a cool question. Can you imagine if we all walked around like that? How can I shine my light brighter? How can I make people feel lighter? How can I feel lighter myself? How can I do things that allow me to really step into joy and to brilliance? Brilliance is not about education. It's not about being smart. Brilliance is who you are. It's that essence of who you are. And it's connecting with that higher self, that identity of your higher self. When you connect 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, quieting the mind and connecting with that higher self, you begin to open up a world of things like downloads where you get inspirations, you get wisdom, you are able to bypass anxiety, like no longer, turn into the bad neighborhood of anxiety, but instead have this booming voice saying to you, turning up the dial of that intuition that says, do this, go here, relax, it's okay, everything's okay. When you have those downloads coming, your brilliance becomes, and you start to share it with other people. And then before you know it, you're living a life of incredible joy and incredible freedom and incredible brilliance. So your brilliance is not getting up every day and just being whoever people need you to be. Your brilliance is being you. It's shining your light. It's sharing your truth. And if you can't share your truth, we may have some throat blockage issues. All right, I'm literally all over the place today, so I'm going to go back a little bit. So these are ways in which you dim your light. So those were the outside sources that may cause you to dim your light. These are the inside sources. So you don't speak up. You have something you want to say and you don't say it, and then you live in regret for not saying it. You say yes when you want to say no. Any people pleasers out there? I used to be. I really have worked on that. One of the best ways to no longer be a people pleaser is to tell people you need to think about it. So when somebody asks you to do something, hopefully they don't need the answer like right this second. Even take 5 minutes. Like say, I got to go to the bathroom really bad. I'll get back to you. Take a couple of deep breaths and ask yourself, do I really want to do this? This is so freaking important to you really connecting with the truth of who you are and connecting with what's good for you and that worthiness that you matter, that what you want matters. You don't go for it. You don't go for it. Why aren't you going for it? I'm going for it. Hello. I am going for it. I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing some live events. I'm organizing a retreat. I'm going to run a retreat. I'm super excited and I'm going to get off of my computer and get out into the world and get into people's energy fields and start activating this stuff for people. Yeah. I'm really excited. Is it out of my comfort zone? Yes. I haven't spoken in front of a live audience probably, God, maybe 3 years. Yeah, maybe 3 years. I did a couple of things in California. I haven't had a consistent thing here. I've done a lot of like house coaching from my house and I'm ready. I'm seriously ready. But I had to step outside my comfort zone. And luckily, it's so funny when you won't move, oftentimes the universe will give you, reasons to move or they'll put people in there to kind of push you a little bit. So I had this woman reach out to me a little while ago. Bless her, love her, so excited to work with her. And she asked about my program. We did a transformation call. I was launching a new program. So here you go. Here's a little course correct for you. The last program that I launched, I've launched 3 programs. They were super successful. I made lots of money. I connected with a lot of amazing people. And those people I'm still working with them and made huge differences in their lives with this program. It's a 6-week program. So actually it's gone to I don't know, I think we're on 12 weeks now. I have all this content. I have amazing content to share with people. So I put that program out there. I don't love doing it. I don't love the sales piece of doing this, putting the sales posts out there. I don't know why, but it makes me feel yucky. So nobody came. I had 2 transformation calls and the one woman lives here said to me, I don't want to be on Zoom anymore. I'm tired of being on Zoom. I work on Zoom. I want to be with people. I want to have adventures. And all of a sudden it hits me and I'm like, oh my goodness. I had this idea a few years ago to do this thing and I had built a website. I created a Facebook page and it was called Golden Coast Tours. And I was going to do teachings for people and guided meditations, take them out for beautiful hikes, create a community, do some emotional techniques, release techniques and guided meditations. And boom, this woman basically says, let's do this. So I don't know if that was her intention, but that was the way I took it. And I said it wasn't meant for me to do another Zoom call recording because I don't want to be home all the time. I really want to be out. I want to be in nature. I want to be in joy. I want to be with people. I want to be with laughter. And so that is created. So on March 26th, I'm going to launch my first seminar and I'll do a little series and I'm going to connect with people that live here. And then moving forward, I'll be doing retreats and things and maybe even a couple days seminar where if you don't live in the area, you can come. So that was a long story to let you know I am practicing what I preach and I'm getting out there. And because I've kind of been holding on this thing and wanting to do it, the universe sent me something to really just go, come on, let's go. So I was about to do it and then I didn't do it. And then I took some time to try to figure out a location. And then this woman contacted me again, and I was like, all right, that's it. So I created the flyer. I put it on Facebook. I still don't have a location, but that's okay. I know one's coming. I know exactly what I want. Gonna write it down. Didn't write it down. I need to write it down. There's that wisdom download. Got to write it down. And there you go. And that's how it's done. But so often in life, we sit there and talk ourselves out of the shit we want to do. We allow our minds to keep us safe and the same. We allow ourselves to live in an identity that is less than the one we want to create. And that's just a freaking shame. That's a shame. I want to plug everyone into this, into joy, into love, into laughter, into living your brilliance. Okay, so what else? You watch TV instead. There's my TV plug. You watch TV instead. It's like, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm going to watch TV. Hello, guilty. Love it. I love to do that. I love to just be like, sometimes we just need a break. And I'm not saying that TV is the root of all evil, because sometimes we just need a break. But if you're doing it at, if that's half of your life, if that's a lot of your life, I would take a look at that and I would start asking yourself, what do I want to learn about? What am I interested in? And start researching stuff, or get a book. Oh my goodness, get a book. Read a book, would you? All right, you hide. Yeah, you hide in your house. You hide, you don't talk. You listen to the shitty committee. Anybody listening to the shitty committee that tells you why you can't do things, why you're not, equipped, why you're not wise enough, why you don't have enough information? Most of us, there's also a social programming in our society that says we have to have a certification. Who the hell came up with that? You got to have a certification. You got to have a college degree. Who came up with that? Like, all of us have this incredible life experience. All of us have the potential to be self-taught. We all now have the internet that is a wealth of information about anything we want to learn. Not to mention, we've got infinite intelligence, anytime we decide to tune into it. Hello. So this whole idea that I have to be certified or I have to go to school in order to do this, I'm just calling BS on that. I really am. And you know what? It's not to say that it's not a good idea to have a certification or to be educated, because a lot of times that will instill self-confidence in us. I was talking to a girlfriend the other day, and she is just so good with kids. She actually tutors. She's been in special education for 25 years, 25 years. And she was telling me, I really want a life coach. There's parents that want me to come and tutor their kids. And she doesn't tutor past elementary school, just to come and hang out with their kids and help them, do their homework. But I don't want to do middle school homework, but just to be with their kids and inspire their kids and pretty much coach their kids. Right. And she was like, I would love to do that. Coach families or coach kids on, being a good student and just believing in themselves. She's really good at getting kids to believe in themselves, to be that voice of positivity when they're getting so many voices that aren't, is something that I think is so powerful and so needed. Right. And she's like, well, I just feel like I need a certification. And I was like, for what? I'm like, you already have all the tools. You've been doing this for 25 years. Right. She's like, well, just for the confidence. I'm like, you just need to build it and they will come. That's how I operate. And people say, well, what is your, I had a guy once say to me, he wanted me to coach his 20-year-old daughter. And God, we did so much with this girl. And I got her meditating, and I got her, she got a job through working with me. She was, got her own plate. So much happened to this 20-year-old girl. And her dad was like, well, you've got a lot of, you're really brave in charging what you charge. You're charging the same as a psychotherapist, somebody who's gone to school for this for a long time. And I said, I have life experience. I know what works. I have mothered 4 daughters. I know exactly what your daughter needs, and I know how to implement it with her. And no book and no degree can teach me what I know, what life experience has taught me. So I guess, that's my confidence. And it took a little bit to step into that confidence. And now I've got a way more confidence. That was 8 years ago. Way more confidence in the fact that we have this channel. We have this channel of wisdom, and we just have to learn how to tune into it. You don't focus. How many out there are not focused? You're all over the freaking place. And I get it. I got a lot going on. I got a lot I could do. There's always laundry, right? There's always dinner to be cooked. There's always the store. Like, oh my God, the grocery store, like I could go every single day. There's kids, there's this, there's that, there's grandbaby, there's, all these things that call to us, right? But the most important thing you can do when you really have something that you want to do and that you feel very passionate about is to focus. Like, even if you set your clock for 20 minutes, the only way I was ever able to write 2 books, I wrote 2 books. Like, what? Yes, it takes focus. And I had to sit my butt down in a chair and not get up, not check my phone. I had to put my phone across the room. The only thing I would get up for is to make coffee and go to the bathroom. That was it. 6, 7 hours in the chair, focused energy. And if I started to lose it and I felt like I wasn't in the game, I'd get up and just go for a little walk and come back to it. And if it wasn't there, then I would leave it. But for the most part, if you want to do something that's different than what you're doing right now, it's going to take some focus. It's going to take some drive. It's going to take some intention, some energetic connection, and some belief in yourself. And if you don't have, I did a whole thing on self-confidence with one of my groups last week. If you don't feel like you have the confidence to do something, this is so crazy simple, but really interesting that I think we miss sometimes. If you don't feel like you have the confidence to do something, you have to do it first. Like, that's what builds confidence, is doing stuff. It's not thinking about stuff. And I had a guy in network marketing that used to say this all the time. You have to be bad before you're good. You got to be good before you're great. So in order to build that confidence, in order to like really live in your expansion and growth, you have to do shit. You got to go out there. You got to leap in faith. You got to do the things you say you want to do, and you got to start living from that identity. You blame and live in victim mode. Are we living in victim mode? I probably not. I mean, if you're listening to this, I can't imagine that you're a victim, but there's certain ways you may be a victim that you're not really seeing, like, I can't do this because I got to take care of my family, or I can't do this because, my kids are smaller. I can't do this because there's always a way. Where there is a will, there is a way, I promise. But you got to open that door. You got to open up to the possibilities and the opportunities. And you got to say, you know what? This is important to me, so I'm going to go for it. I want to shout out to all my stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads, because that is like one of the toughest jobs on the earth. I am not going to lie. I did it solidly for about 16, 17 years. And then I started doing my network marketing stuff. I did a lot of volunteer stuff during that, so it wasn't just that. But man, there is always something that needs to be done, right? You got to carve out time for yourself. You've got to find ways to exercise your brilliance, whether it's just posting on social media or just doing little mini YouTubes, whatever you can do to share your voice, to share who you are, to share your brilliance. I have a cool story about that, actually. So cool. I have a client who, I've been working with her for years, but like in the last year, we got really serious and she was feeling a little lost, and she did my program, and she really stepped in. Like, I'm so proud of her. In fact, I'll give a little shout out to Heather. I'm going to share, I did a little podcast with her the other day on meditation, and I will put that on my YouTube channel as soon as I get off this. So Heather, amazing woman, like bright light, super duper brilliant wisdom, the whole thing, holding herself back, right? She's a mom, she's a wife, she's moved several times. She's got a lot of reasons to not step into that brilliance. Well, after working together and her really, really deciding what she wanted to create, now she's doing this podcast. Well, through this podcast, her husband got inspired. This is so cool. And he started researching equipment for her and stuff. And he decided that he loves fixing cars, and he's going to do a YouTube channel on how to fix and flip cars. Like, how cool is that? So now they are both like in this really exciting, creative endeavor, separately, but together. And I thought that was so cool because, looking at her husband and kind of like, what can I do? I love flipping cars. I'm sure he makes money doing that, but it's like, how can I do this more? How can I add more life and more brilliance and more passion to my life? I can share this with people. So if you have something you're really passionate about and you've been doing it for a while, it's your gift to share this with people. It's your brilliance, it's your essence to share this with people. Super proud of those two. Really, really excited. All right. So you feel like you have no choice. That's one way that you keep yourself kind of in a box, and you get mad at or beat yourself up. Like, I should be further. I should know better. I'm broken. I've got to figure out how to fix myself. You're like a seminar junkie where you're always signing up for another seminar, looking for somebody to fix you, looking for that guru to tell you what the magic formula is. And maybe that's why you're listening to this, but you're not broken. Jeez. You're not broken, people. You're not broken. You're whole and you are worthy, and your ability to live that is so incredibly important. It's so important to the world for you to share who you really are and to shine that light on other people, because you're going to give other people permission. So often we think like, when we do big things or we really get ourselves out there. Like recently I've been sharing, I hired a media company a little while ago, and I started sharing pictures of myself. And I do my posts with my pictures every day of myself, because that's what they say you should do, right? Like, you should show your face and do your posts. Instead of just doing my posts, I wasn't getting a lot of attention. So show my face. Okay. Then my daughter decided that she wanted to be a little more creative with me, and she started bringing me out and being really creative. Well, wow. Like, I feel so amazing taking these photos, and people would say, "Oh my God, like, you're always taking pictures." I don't care what people think, honestly. I don't think people are thinking that, but I get a lot of attention for it, and it's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to share this. I'm looking to share this with you. I'm looking to share the brilliance and the essence of who I am, to activate that in yourself. That's my intention in all of that. And it's not bragging, and it's not narcissism, and it's not ego. It's literally showing you what's possible. Like, that's what gets me so excited. And that's what makes me feel like living in this confident place, and this, really putting myself out there in a big way is going to help and assist other people to do that as well. So when you do that, you give other people permission to do the same. Living in your true essence and brilliance means you have to stop looking for ways to fix yourself, and instead focus on what is already good. What is already good about you? There's so much. There is so much. I'm telling you right now. And your mom maybe never told you, and your dad maybe never told you, and maybe your inner critic never tells you. But the truth of the matter is, you are. Because you are an expression of divine energy. You are a channel of infinite wisdom. You have the potential within you to live your desires, to live your dreams. And I want to see you do that. Ask yourself, where do I shine? What lights me up? And what can I change in my activities to allow for more of that? So y'all know, I don't know if you know, but if you follow me on social media, you know I do Fun Friday. Right? So Fun Friday was born out of COVID. It was born out of a desire from myself and my friend Diane to have more fun. And our friend Terry got invited as well. And now it's growing. We have Carolyn, we've got a couple other people joining us this Friday. And our intention was to just have fun, to do our favorite things, to beach, to shop, to lunch, to bike, kayak, whatever we feel called to that day, and have laughs and jump. We do jumping pictures, which we just end up in hysterics. We do silly things. We put on fun hats. Like, it's become a whole thing. It's become a whole thing that we never intended it to be, except we intended it to be fun. So now it's kind of taking on a life of its own, which is so cool. And you can do that. And you say, "Oh, I work too much. I can't do that." Or I have people say it to me all the time, "You're so tan." And I'm like, well, because I schedule the beach. I schedule the beach. I schedule my sun. I live in California. I didn't move here to stay inside all the time. I moved here to enjoy the outdoors year round. So you can intend for that. Even if you're in a cold place, what do you love to do? Who do you love to be with? Be with the people who are lighthearted. And if you don't have any, I went through a while where I didn't have any, so I had to seek them out. I had to attract them. I had to become that in order to attract that, right? I had to become fun, lighthearted, and full of joy in order to create that, right? So if you are lacking in that, look at yourself. Look at what you're emitting. Look at what frequency you're in. Are you in love? Are you in joy? Are you in appreciation? Or are you in misery and victimhood and complaining? Because that's what you're going to attract. All right. You must de-identify with the thoughts that keep you small. So you've heard me say this before. There's a higher self and a smaller self. The smaller self is the one that's tuned into the mind. Keeps you safe. It keeps you the same. There were reasons for it. That protective coating you put around yourself kept you safe when you were small, right? Now that you are not small, and now that you have control over your life, now you can open yourself up. You can meditate. You can quiet that small self. You can tell that small self to sit down, shh, be quiet, and you can listen to the higher self. And the higher self is going to give you the downloads. It's going to give you the wisdom. It's going to give you the trust and the faith and the belief in yourself to then take on an identity that is more in direct reflection of what you're looking to create, direct contact with who you're looking to create. So ask yourself, what does that look like? What is the identity of what I want to live look like? Is it on a tropical island? Because you got to start thinking about that. You got to start energetically aligning with that tropical island. Remember the winter that I was in Connecticut still, and there was tons of snow, and I was shoveling. I could not be miserable. I could not be in the lack of the sunshine. I had to trust that it was coming. I had to be in expectation. That expectation aligns you with the energy. And then the allowing process is having the patience, relaxing, and allowing the universe to orchestrate in your favor. All right. So we have to have different thoughts. We have to have different feelings. We have to have different reactions, and we have to have different activities to represent the identity of what we are looking to create. And we have to stop filling our time with the distractions of the world that have kept us small, that have kept us, on that hamster wheel of never even thinking, never even considering that things could be different, just sitting there and suffering away and, not trying anything different. My husband recently started to do some different things with his business. I think I shared this, and I will definitely have him on again to talk about things. But he's doing some different things. He's letting some people go. He's not taking huge jobs anymore. He's doing what feels right and feels good to him, not what he feels pressured to do to take care of our family. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to go out and quit his job, but it does mean him allowing and letting go and releasing so much hold and so much control means the money can come from elsewhere. The abundance can come from elsewhere. He is probably in the most joy I've seen him in a long time. He's working out. He's in good shape. He's got that life force going. He's not drinking alcohol. He's reading positive things. He's uplifting. He's funny. He's he's fantastic. Let's face it. But he wasn't always that way. Like a year or two ago, he was in massive amounts of stress and feeling like he had no choice. Now he meets with people and he decides if he really wants to work with them. That's huge. That is a huge worthiness thing, not to just take everything that's coming. And that's also, it's just a big piece of trusting and not feeling like you're desperate and you need to make things happen all the time. So it's a transition and it's a shift. And I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it because I feel like it's opening the pathways to different potentials for us, these other activities and other possibilities and these other ways to create an income source is super exciting. So get excited about that. One of the biggest, I think, detriments to our society is We only believe that we can create the money that our job lets us create, or we only believe we're going to have the money that we've saved for retirement. And it's such a disservice because it doesn't allow us to really open up to abundance. We see so much evidence in this world of abundance. We see so much evidence of massive amounts of wealth, and then we keep ourselves from it because we don't believe that we're worth it, or we don't believe it can be ours, or we go, I don't even know how to do that. Well, let's figure it out. Let's find out. Let's find out where our passion is, and let's create an income source through that. Let's start a YouTube channel where we teach people how to flip cars. Oh my goodness, who knows where that's going to go? So think about what you really want to do. Think about what you really want to identify with, and then start adding those activities into your life. If you're working all the time, if you're, there's this addiction to work. My husband definitely had it. If you're working all the time and you don't have time for fun, and you don't have time to feel free, and you don't have time for nature or exercise or lightheartedness, you're living a life that is less than. You may have lots of money. You may have a good money flow. You may feel like you have no choice. But the truth of the matter is, more abundance cannot come when you're that wound up around something. And my husband has created massive amounts of money this way, being stressed, being anxious. But guess what? We ended up losing all of it. We lost all of it because we had no idea what the hell we were doing. And I think it was it's definitely part of our expansion and growth and becoming more. I do believe that's over. I do believe that we are in a really good flow, and together that flow can only get better. And this is completely and totally and utterly possible for you to do the same thing. It's just, you got to start getting in tuned with and in touch with, what are my passions? How do I shine my light more? What do I really want to do? What would be fantastic to do? Do you ever think about that? Do you ever visualize and meditate? And we don't visualize necessarily to create something. We actually visualize to align with something. So energetic visualization, the energetic world is created before the physical world. And they always say the subconscious doesn't know what's real. So whatever you put in there, it's going to create from, right? So that's why when you start acting as if, and you start doing activities that are based around that identity, that's where things are going to manifest, because you are putting out that energetic alignment that allows for physical manifestation. So we have a vision, and that vision evokes a feeling. The feeling is the manifestation. The feeling is that energy of that wave that comes out, right? Your thoughts are not that powerful. They're powerful, but they're not that powerful. Even your words, they say words are really powerful. Your words are not that powerful if there is no feeling behind them. I would have people say to me all the time, they would, share appreciation or whatever, but their actions never backed it up. So if you don't have the energetic push, which is the feeling, the belief, the focus, the energy, that thing is just going to fall flat. So in order to get the energetic alignment, it's the feeling. It's the feeling. And you don't have to visualize every day. You really don't. I tend to just spend a couple of minutes visualizing just because I like the feeling. I like the feeling of my beach house with my infinity pool in the sunset. I like that feeling. I like being in that place. Eventually, you're in that place so much that all of a sudden you are in that place and you're like, wow, I did it. And so that's what I did with California. Is I would just envision myself here. I would envision the waves. I would see myself with my friends. I would literally, and I don't know if this was psychic or what, or a divine download, but I would see myself standing outside of my house, the house I live in now. I would see myself and I would feel the sunshine. And often when I'm walking into the house, I'll stand there and I'll feel that. And I'll go, this is exactly what it felt like when I was laying on my couch under cats and blankets in the winter. This is exactly what it felt like. So that energetic alignment is so important. So whatever the identity you're looking to create, put yourself in that person's body and see yourself. See what you would wear, see what you would do, see where you would go, see who you would talk to. That's how energetic alignment works. When I was manifesting my Mercedes, I put myself in the driver's seat. I saw my hands on the wheel. They talk about that in The Secret. I'm looking out the windshield, right? How would I act if I saw a Mercedes? There's my car. No big deal, right? It's not like, oh my God, there's my car. Love that car. No. Excitement is great, but being in the energetic alignment of the person who owns that excitement doesn't last that long. I still love it. I still get my car and go, oh, I love my car. But it's that excitement of being like thrilled that it's coming. It's good, but it's not in energetic alignment with the person who already has it. All right, so that's identity creation. Thank you for being with me for another awesome show. I got a lot of fun things coming up. If you are local to Southern California, reach out to me. You can get me at livelifegolden@gmail or get me on my website, livelifegolden.com. I will put the links below if you want to be a VIP member or a $5 member just to support the podcast. That would be awesome. The seminar is launching on March 26th. I believe it's going to be a 6-week, but it might be a little bit longer because I have lots of content to share. And I may just a la carte it and let people pick which ones they want to come to. But I am pumped about this. This is going to be super fun. This is going to be different than just a seminar that you go to and sit in a room. This is going to be about adventure. It's going to be about community. It's going to be about tribe members. It's going to be about building something. It's building a group of people who are living in states of higher consciousness and are able to really powerfully create the life they're living, that are living in their true brilliance and essence. And then my retreats will be the very first one I'm launching is at the end of September. I guess I could launch one before that for local peeps. We'll see. I got a house. I found a house and it's really beautiful and it's right on the beach. So yeah, to be announced, that stuff. Reach out to me if you have questions. Look for the Live Life Golden page on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, and also M21 Revolution on Facebook is a great resource if you are looking for assistance in your meditation journey. I also have products. I will put the link up. I just have water bottles and cool, let me see. I got some cool journals. You can write down what you're looking to manifest. I've got phone cases. Phone cases, t-shirts, hats, just some fun stuff. That was just fun to create. I sat down one day and I just created all this stuff and it was super fun. So that's about it for the show. Let me know if you need anything. Let's de-identify with those thoughts, feelings, responses, and activities that are not aligning with who we want to be. They're not aligning with what we really want to create. And let's just start shifting, right? Like shift the habits, shift the tendencies, and start living your life for more joy. Start moving your bodies, start getting out in nature, and start really living life to your greatest potential. Love you all. Peace.